They're not talking about it on the mainstream financial news. The talking heads are still focused on the obvious. But for those of us who understand the hidden mechanics, the unseen forces at play, a truth is emerging that will redefine fortunes. Crypto isn't just booming, it's a coiled spring, and an unprecedented supply shock is brewing, ready to catapult specific assets into a parabolic surge. What if I told you that everything you're witnessing right now, the quiet accumulation, the institutional maneuvers, even the seemingly mundane chart patterns, is all setting the stage for XRP to unleash a move so violent, so explosive, it will etch itself into the annals of financial history. This isn't just a prediction. This is the culmination of years of calculated pressure, about to break. Stay with me, because if you miss this, the regret will be colossal. Right now, the crypto market cap sits at a staggering $3.65 trillion. Many might see this as the peak, the top of the mountain. But they're missing the forest for the trees. We've only just edged past the all-time highs of 2021. In fact, if you zoom out, we've been consolidating, gathering strength, just beneath and around those prior peaks for months. Think of it like a patient recovering from a major illness. The initial surge of energy is good, but the real healing, the true strength, builds in the quiet, steady moments of consolidation. We are in that phase now. Asset management giants, usually slow-moving behemoths, are not just dipping their toes, they're flipping on the jets, realizing how early even they are in this market. And when altcoin season truly ignites, driven by this foundational strength, we are going to witness the most violent, explosive moves these charts have ever seen. But to understand the true power of XRP, we first need to diagnose the market's core. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, Bitcoin. I know. You came here for XRP, and you might groan when I bring up BTC. But ignore Bitcoin at your peril. It's not just the market leader, it's the market's very oxygen supply. Imagine Bitcoin as the heart of the crypto economy. When the heart pumps strong, distributing fresh, oxygenated blood, or in our case liquidity, it nourishes every other part of the body. The stronger Bitcoin's pulse, the more robust the entire system becomes. We've seen Bitcoin consolidating ever since its powerful surge to almost $120,000. It's been building pressure, almost like a carefully regulated blood pressure cuff. But what happens when that pressure is released? And how does Bitcoin's next surge directly fuel the parabolic potential of assets like XRP? This current Bitcoin consolidation isn't a weakness, it's a recharging phase. We saw this exact pattern on the 9th, a push to $112,000, then consolidation, then an even bigger push towards $120,000. It's a classic setup for a significant squeeze. Here's why this matters for your altcoin bags. The more liquidity that flows into Bitcoin, the more it trickles down into Ethereum, and then crucially, into the altcoins you care about. Think of it as a cascading waterfall of capital. Bitcoin's strength creates the initial powerful flow, then Ethereum acts as a massive reservoir, before the water, the liquidity, finally spills over into the smaller, more agile altcoin rivers. And the higher Bitcoin goes while its dominance drops, a key metric we'll dissect, the higher altcoins, including XRP, will absolutely soar. This is the fundamental, often misunderstood, interconnectedness of this market. Bitcoin sets the stage, but the altcoins perform the symphony. But the Bitcoin story is only one part of the equation. To truly understand the imminent altcoin explosion, we need to look at Ethereum. Ethereum isn't just another crypto, it's the major warning sign that altcoin mania is about to go into overdrive. We've been watching its chart meticulously, waiting for a critical flip. It's currently just under $3,000. But what happens when it breaks $3,000? And more importantly, what happens when it smashes past $3,400? This isn't just about price targets, it's about signaling a fundamental shift. What does Ethereum's Phase 2 truly represent? And how does its next explosive move unleash an unstoppable force for every single altcoin, pushing them into uncharted territory alongside XRP? Flipping $3,000 for Ethereum isn't just a psychological barrier, it signals the push towards $4,000. And hitting $3,400? That's the gateway to $4,000, which then leads directly to retesting its all-time highs and, critically, price discovery. This is when a market asset breaks into new, unexplored valuation territory. But here's the crucial, often overlooked data point. Both Bitcoin and Ethereum exchange reserves are dropping significantly. Think of this like the body's oxygen tanks. If the reserves of oxygen are constantly being depleted, it means demand is through the roof. This tells us that buying demand for both Bitcoin and Ethereum is surging at a time when enterprise and institutional adoption of these two giants is also soaring. The spot ETFs, for example, are sucking up supply at an astonishing rate. For Bitcoin, the supply is simply not there. This isn't just a meme, this is a legitimate, quantifiable supply shock in the making. And when the supply of the market's two largest assets tightens like a constricted blood vessel, The pressure builds, forcing prices dramatically higher. This liquidity then cascades, sending altcoins, including XRP, significantly higher. And now we turn our attention to the asset that has arguably endured the most scrutiny, the most skepticism, and the most prolonged consolidation, XRP. It's been retesting significant resistance around $3. We've seen a small sell-off, a slight correction. But this is absolutely nothing compared to what's coming. Many have chosen to ignore XRP, to dismiss its potential, blinded by narratives that no longer hold true. They point to its immense supply and say a true supply shock is impossible. But what if I told you that the very problem they perceive is actually XRP's greatest strength, setting the stage for a supply shock that could eclipse even Bitcoin's? What hidden forces are truly accumulating XRP in the shadows, positioning it for a move that will leave the skeptics in absolute disbelief? The narrative around XRP is heating up. Institutional adoption and focus are undeniable. Companies are now adding XRP to their trust reserves, a massive vote of confidence. XRP is deeply involved in major government initiatives around stablecoins, and even the discussions around a Truth Social ETF filing hint at a broader, underlying movement towards crypto integration. Ignoring XRP's current position isn't just naive, it's a choice to be willfully ignorant of the facts. Just look at the all-time chart for XRP. It's a masterpiece of accumulation. We've seen 8 consecutive monthly candles consolidating above the all-time high monthly candle closes from 2017 and 2018. This isn't random price action, it's a deliberate multi-year base-building pattern. XRP has been primed for this massive move for a long time. And the critical piece? This is happening at a time when retail investors, the average Joe who drives the FOMO, are simply not here yet. This isn't just a theory, it's quantifiable. You might say, Nick, you always say retail isn't here. But it's the uncomfortable truth. Until you see Coinbase and other crypto exchange apps dominating the top of the mobile app store charts, not just financial apps, but all trending apps, retail has not arrived. Until Google trends for altcoins to buy, or crypto to buy show massive, parabolic spikes, they are still asleep. Bitcoin, even after its recent surge towards $120,000, shows Google search interest levels no higher than August, September, or October of 2024. It's a ghost town. So if retail isn't here, if the masses are oblivious to this accumulating pressure, then who is buying? Who is swallowing up the available supply? And what astonishing data points prove that a select group is quietly, methodically, building a position in XRP that will create the largest supply shock this market has ever seen. While the masses are distracted, the smart money, the whales, are feasting. XRP's market value recently hit a 7-week high, crossing $2.39 for the first time since May. But the real story isn't just the price. It's the rising number and collective balances of wallets holding at least 1 million XRP. We currently have 2,742 such wallets, just one shy of yesterday's all-time high. And collectively, these 1 million plus wallets hold a mind-boggling 47.32 billion XRP. This isn't random, this is a strategic accumulation on a monumental scale. These are the players who understand the fundamental value, the long-term vision, and the impending market shifts. They are aware of how bullish the overall XRP chart is, and how the entire altcoin environment is aligning to send XRP soaring. This relentless whale accumulation is systematically reducing the available supply, setting the fuse for the ultimate explosion. This is the latest XRP news that matters, not the daily price fluctuations. For years, we've heard the Bitcoin supply shock narrative. Some dismissed it as a meme. But the truth is, real supply constraints are happening, driven by unprecedented institutional demand. Bitcoin balances on exchanges are plummeting. ETFs are consuming vast amounts of supply daily, and their inflows are significant. Retail buying is adding to the pressure, and even corporations and sovereign wealth funds are adding Bitcoin to their reserves. This creates a legitimate supply squeeze for Bitcoin. But what if I told you that this phenomenon isn't limited to Bitcoin? What if the true supply shock, the one that will create the most violent parabolic price action, is not just brewing for Bitcoin, but is simultaneously, quietly, and even more profoundly, gathering strength for specific altcoins, with XRP at its absolute epicenter? What confluence of factors makes XRP poised for a supply shock that could send it into price ranges few dare to imagine? This isn't just speculation. Bitwise, a leading asset management company, just confirmed it. In Q2 2025, public companies alone held 847,000 Bitcoin, a 23% quarter-over-quarter change. That's over 4% of Bitcoin's total supply. The demand is insatiable. But here's the game changer. This supply constriction is also happening for Ethereum. And believe it or not, it's happening for XRP as well. While XRP's overall supply is larger, The sheer volume being moved off exchanges and accumulated by whales is creating a scarcity that will drive price like a rocket. This is the triforce of scarcity: Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, all experiencing massive accumulation. And the banks? The OCC, the FDIC, even the Federal Reserve have given them the green light to hold crypto. Why wouldn't they? They need assets for their institutional DeFi services, for reserves, and to offer buying, selling, and trading. This is the perfect storm for supply to diminish greatly, leading to the ultimate supply shock. Now, let's look at XRP dominance. It's finally breaking out of its multi-year downtrend. XRP has been gaining momentum against Bitcoin itself. We're watching for a push to 6 to 8% dominance, then 11 to 14.3%. And if we look back to 2017, XRP hit 31.4% market dominance. Imagine what that means. If Bitcoin surges to $200,000 as Bitwise expects, and Bitcoin dominance drops by 30%, which fuels altcoins, the stage is set for XRP to truly explode. This is it. The moment you've been waiting for. With the total crypto market cap heading to $5 to $7 trillion, and XRP reclaiming even a modest 5% dominance, we're talking about XRP prices of $440 to $612. That's not a typo. And if we reclaim just 12% dominance, a figure seen recently, we could see XRP at $1,050 to almost $1,470. This isn't just an extreme target zone, it's a quantifiable possibility based on historical precedent and current market dynamics. The XRP parabolic stage is now set because the largest crypto supply shock is brewing across the board, but with XRP being the most undervalued, most accumulated by whales, and most compliant asset, its potential for a vertical surge is unparalleled. The latest XRP news isn't coming from daily headlines. It's being written by the invisible hands of whale accumulation and the undeniable force of diminishing supply. This is your moment to understand the truth, to act on the data, and to position yourself for the greatest wealth transfer in history. You now possess the critical knowledge that 99% of the market is completely oblivious to. You understand the profound setup, the brewing supply shock, and the parabolic potential that XRP holds. This isn't just about financial gains, it's about seizing control of your destiny in a world undergoing unprecedented change. Don't be one of those who look back years from now with regret, wishing they'd understood this moment. The time for inaction is over. If you found this insight invaluable, you know what to do. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all notifications so you don't miss another crucial update that can impact your financial future. And if you're ready to dive even deeper into specific strategies to leverage this coming market surge, you must watch my next video where I reveal 3 surprising altcoins that will explode next, fueled by the XRP supply shock. The link is on your screen right now and in the description. Your financial freedom awaits. Don't just stand there. Click that video, and let's go.